the surroundings before they talk to her, and then they kind of let her know that it's okay and that she's safe. But she wasn't believing that. She just thought in her mind that she was going to go to jail. So they were able to calm her nerves and let her know that she's not going to jail because she kept saying that I don't want to go to jail or whatever. She was crying. And that was a monumental moment because she hadn't cried at all since she'd been there. So she finally was able to release. So the police are like trying to help her feel calm and let her know that they're not going to take her to jail. So they unhooked those handcuffs. Another policeman is asking her questions, and another policeman is writing whatever she's saying down. And then they call for backup. So when they call for backup, it was other police and press come. So the policemen go to this box in her room. I forgot to share. As time was going on, Jim Bob had gave her more stuff in her room because at first it was just her on his couch. But as years went on, because she was doing what Jim Bob told her, they put a dresser in her room. They gave her sexy lingerie clothes, and they let her come up out of the basement every now and then. So when the police was there, they saw this cardboard box, and that was her closet with these sexy lingerie. So, and she had it on when they found her. So he finds a house coat, a robe, and that was the only thing that was not silky or sexy or see-through. So he puts the robe around her, and he lets her know that we're going to take you up out of here, and you're not going to jail. And he tells her that they're going to go outside, and there's going to be press outside as well, and you don't have to say anything to them. Okay. Moving on. They take her to the hospital. I think she spends a day or two in the hospital. And we're going back to what Miss Vicki said. As they were examining her, because they had to bring in the Department of Social Services as well. So as they were examining her, they found that she was fine physically, but mentally is a whole other story. And that was for the Department of Social Services to deal with. But in the midst of that, even though they said she was fine physically, they found some, when they were checking her out, based on what happened to her, she had what did they say? Diseases. That's what Miss Vicki was alerted to earlier. So she did have diseases, and they had to give her strong antibiotics to help her with that before she was released. Miss Vicki, before I go on, you want to comment?
Yeah, they did say that they found a disease or two. It wasn't like a lot, but they did say whatever it was, they were VD. How do you say it? I can't even say it. But anyway, yeah, she had VD, different venereal diseases, but it was like one or two, and they said it was treatable. Okay. All they had to do was give her, some antibiotics or whatever to treat it.
So
that's it.
So she's being treated for that, and then she's released, and she had to go to the Department of Social Services.
Oh, you're going to have to bring it to a close in a minute?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm going to bring it to a close. So she's at the Department of Social Services, and she's been told that she's going to go live with a temporary foster parent. So as she's waiting for her social worker to come and introduce her to her new foster family, she's there and she sees other kids watching TV, and I guess they're waiting on their foster family as well. So then the social worker comes and gets her and introduces her to her social family, and they were older. They were a couple, and they were an older couple. Okay. So, of course, they already know her story, right? So they come and get her, and they're driving to her house, and it might have been maybe 30 minutes away from where she was, the Department of Social Services. And they go into the house, and she's looking around the house, and she's like, oh, wow, there's not no basement, and she's looking all around. Because even though she's free from that, but mentally her mind is still back where she was in that basement, okay? So, long story short, she gets used to being there, and they're comforting to her, and they start talking to her about Jesus. Now, remember that pouch that we talked about earlier that her grandmother gave her? She still had that pouch. And the couple is telling her that God loves her, Jesus loves her, and he has plans for her life. So that was similar to what her grandmother had put on the paper. Okay. So she's staying with them. They buy her clothes. She's starting to feel comfortable and getting used to them. And they tell her that this is only a temporary situation. They only have a license to do temporary foster care, and that God called them to foster young women like her that are in trouble. And that's their calling, and to help them and tell them about Jesus. So she told the woman told her that this was only going to be temporary. Now, in the midst of that, they're getting close now. And the couple taught her how to read every day. They were teaching her letters and everything. So, like the third month, she knew how to read like the maybe first grade books. You know, she wasn't totally able to read everything, but she was better than what she was before. So the time came 3 months later, she had to tell her that she had to go to her new family, her new permanent family. And the couple wasn't happy about that, but they already understood that's how it was going to go. And Mary wasn't happy about that either, but she had to accept that this is what it is, and she had to go to her new family. And it was understood in the beginning that while she was with the couple, that they would be helping her find her grandmother, because she didn't know her last name. All she knew was her name was Mary, and Jim Bob called her Margaret, so she thought that was her last name. So they was having trouble finding her grandmother. Okay, so then time comes, she has to leave. They say their goodbyes. She tells them when she learns how to read more and get back to her grandmother, get a car, she's gonna keep in touch with them. So moving on, the social worker comes to get her to take her to family. And on that note, that concludes our chapters 8 through 8, 9, and 10. And we'll be back to continue the story. Anything you want to add, Ms. Richards, before I turn on the music?
I just know this was really, really deep. It seemed like we didn't go over something, but maybe it just wasn't meant. But yeah, this was really, 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 I really get, this is my area, so I really get compassionate about women that go through domestic violence and the process of it and everything. So, no, I really don't have much to say. Just want to tell the listeners to don't forget we still in COVID. Practice prevention and intervention, and take your vitamins, and if you take herbs, do that. Drink plenty of water. Keep your immune system built up. Wear your mask, and make peace, not war.
And don't forget to get the book, because we're like going quickly, and we're definitely summarizing. And usually for me, you know, I'll be wanting to give you detail by detail by detail. But, you know, my co-host right here, she's not going to let me do all that. So I'm learning how to do this quickly. So I really encourage you guys to get the book, Divide, by Karen Kingsbury. And by going to COVID, the booster shots are out. So if you're able to get a booster shot, I would encourage you to do so. And they're saying in the news that you have to wait 6 months from your last shot. So I know quite a few people in my circle that have gotten theirs. Okay. So if it works for you and you're feeling that, so be it. Let me see if there's anything else before I play my music. Okay. Play the music. Oh, and Thanksgiving is coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and next week I will be with Miss Vicky. See, we're doing it remote. She in one place, and I'm in another place. So next week I'll be with her, so we'll be in the same place. So we're gonna see how that goes next week. Then we do the show. Okay. All right then. Oh, did you guys hear about there's supposedly a shortage of turkeys and some of the food that you may need for your Thanksgiving dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't went out shopping yet, you might want to go shopping. And if it is a shortage when you get to the store, then you might want to have a backup plan. You know, just saying. All righty then, not a shortage. Okay. Where's the song? Make Peace by Elevate Your Game, Isaiah Freeman, and here we go.
It was war about a week ago. They shot my man, I was with him about a week ago. In my city, round the city, we should stop that. Keep losing, trying to win with the get back. Don't you see where that gets us? Who's cooler? There's a body, there's a shooter. There's a man without a future, now his homies out to get ya. And the cycle just continues if we only just remember that we stronger together. We was made here to give, we was made here to love, we was made here to live. Yeah, we stronger together. We was made here to give, we was made here to love, we was made here to live. Now get your money, get success, and live a good life. Need to put the guns down and get your mind right. Get your money, get success, and live a good life. You need to put the guns down and get your mind right. Now won't you make peace, make something of yourself, won't you make something of you, make peace, won't you make something of yourself, yeah, nah, revenge ain't sweet. Now when you gotta watch your back and you just can't sleep, it's a lot of other things that you just could be. A better man, better woman, better human being. Instead of building one another, we killing up all our brothers, consoling them crying mothers. They got us in front of judges, they got us in orange jumpers, cuff us and put us under. This ain't the life of none of us, we need every one of us. We stronger together, we was made here to give, we was made here to love, we was made here to live. Yeah, we stronger together, we was made here to give, we was made here to love, we was made here to live. Now get your money, get success, and live a good life. Need to put the guns down and get your mind right. Get your money, get success, and live a good life. You need to put the guns down and get your mind right. Now won't you make peace, make something of yourself, won't you make something of you, make peace, won't you make something of yourself, make peace. Put aside all your pride, try to focus on right. When you go eye for eye, then we all end up blind. We were put here to fly, we were put here to shine. We were put here to fly, we were put here to shine. Put aside all your pride, try to focus on right. When you go eye for eye, then we all end up blind. We were put here to fly, we were put here to shine. We were put here to fly, we were put here to shine. Now won't you make peace, make something of yourself, won't you make something of you, make peace, won't you make something of yourself, make peace. We stronger together, we was made here to give, we was made here to love, we was made here to live. Yeah, we stronger together, we was made here to give, we was made here to love, we was made here to live. Now get your money, get success, and live a good life. Need to put the guns down and get your mind right. Get your money, get success, and live a good life. You need to put the guns down and get your mind right. Make something of yourself, make something of yourself. What you make something of yourself? And make peace.
Bye, everyone. Total business. See you next week.
See you next week. Deuces.